Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be taking a look together at the Divine Masculines reading for the week of June 5th to June 11th. It is a beautiful reading, so let's get started. As you can see in front of you, it is going to be a 9-card spread for Divine Masculines. And if you remember before, the previous readings for Divine Masculines have always had a heaviness towards them. There were cards like isolation, healing, fear, sadness, spending time alone. But when you have a look at the overall spread for this week, you can see that this is starting to change. There's been a shift and a balancing in the Divine Masculines overall energy, that all of these cards have such vibrancy and life to them. The recent past for Divine Masculines, they've been working very hard on themselves and healing and balancing themselves, and this is shown in the cards and also with the overall energies, because this is starting to feel like the end of one cycle and a beginning of a new cycle. June definitely has a freshness to it, and there's going to be a lot of changes in the astrological alignment for this week, which helps with this movement forward. It's really refreshing to see the Divine Masculines out of that cycle and into their new cycle where they're balanced and really holding their power. The spread itself represents a different aspect of the Divine Masculine's life. The top row from left to right represents Divine Masculine's mental thoughts. The middle row is for their emotional connections, and their bottom row is their physical environment. So let's get started and take a closer look at their mental thoughts. The first card Divine Masculines have, as you can see, is the third eye chakra, and this is in the past position. So this is showing that the Divine Masculines have been learning how to activate their clairvoyance, their inner seeing, their inner intuition, and that higher level of consciousness that comes with the energy center of the third eye chakra. This chakra works really closely with the throat chakra and the crown chakra, so that will be assisting the Divine Masculines in developing their psychic and intuitive inner guidance that is always available to them. This is an important step in the Divine Masculine's journey towards twin flame union and towards balance within themselves, because the balancing of their third eye chakra and gaining that intuition is balancing that feminine energy, because intuition and inner knowing is a very feminine quality. So the Divine Masculines are learning to balance their masculine energy with a little bit of that feminine energy. Energizing and activating this chakra helps the Divine Masculines to intuitively know what others are thinking, how they're feeling, being more perceptive, and understanding who is true to them and who is not. So this is a really beneficial quality going forward in the Divine Masculine's life. The card that Divine Masculines receive for their present situation, for their mental state of mind, is the Harmony card, which is a number 11 card. And as you can see in this card, there's a gesture and she's playing this instrument, and there's a rhythm and harmony to the overall card. The yin yang on top of the hat is showing the balance. Everything about this card, including the rainbow and the 2 stars on her cheeks, are showing the overall rhythm and harmony that the Divine Masculines are feeling right now mentally. The Divine Masculines are not feeling anxiety or stress. They are so at peace, so in harmony with themselves. The development of their third eye chakra really helped to see who is truthful in their environment, who is not, letting go of the things that they needed to let go of. And I feel all of this intuition and inner knowing has strengthened them. So the Divine Masculines are in this place of true balance, which I haven't seen recently for them. So this is a great step forward. As we move into the card to the right hand side, the Divine Masculines receive the card Yang, and this is what's showing for the Divine Masculines outcome for the rest of the week, what they're working towards. The Divine Masculines, if you remember last week, received this exact card, and this card last week was from the Divine Feminines to Divine Masculines, the advice from the Divine Feminines. The Divine Feminines wanted their Divine Masculines to balance their masculine energy and really stand in their masculine energy. So with this card being here is showing that the divine masculines are listening to their divine feminines, are learning to balance that within themselves. The Yang card is in the traditional Chinese symbol of the yin yang, yin being feminine and yang being masculine, and masculine energy is all about doing and being assertive and logical and pushing forward, moving forward, and having the power to make things happen, taking action. The card being a number 1 card is showing the new life that the divine masculines are feeling right now, and showing that the obstacles in the past they have overcome that they are now in charge of their destiny. You can see that the hands with the ball of flame, there is a strength and power to this card, and that is what the divine masculines are currently rooted in mentally. So overall, a really beautiful spread right there for divine masculines. Let's move on now to their emotional state of being and how they're feeling in their hearts. The first card that we have is the stunning joy and stability card. When you have a look at this card, you can see the brilliance and the light that is from this card that comes through. Last week we talked about the divine masculines and how they're moving towards the light, and I feel this is coming through more and more as we embark on this new week. This card is all about happiness and renewal. The divine masculines seem to have this renewed sense within their heart. The resentment or loneliness and sadness is no longer living within their hearts. For some divine masculines, their karmic relationships ended earlier in this year, around February, March, and you can see that the divine masculines are no longer holding on to these the heartbreak or anything related to these karmic relationships. They've sort of moved into this renewed state of joy and happiness, and have processed that pain through them, understood why it came into their lives, and now they are focusing their energy forward, their energy towards the new. They're also vibrating at a very high level right now, and they're no longer going to be attracting these negative people around them anymore. So this is a beautiful card to have in the past for the divine masculines. For the present card, they receive the number 27 card titled Attraction. Let's take a look together at this card. Take a close look at the card. There is this man, and he is holding this dome, and within this glass dome is this woman, and this woman has a lure and mysteriousness to her, and she's calling towards him. He seems magnetized towards her. This is representing the divine masculine and his allure, the allure that's coming from the divine feminine. If you have a look actually for this week's for the divine feminine spread, the card that the divine feminines received in this exact placement is the Femme Fatale card. So the divine feminines are feeling very confident, very attractive, very secure in who they are. And this energy is being blasted to the divine masculines, and they are sensing this. So divine feminines, if you recently did something new to yourself, like maybe you got a haircut, you change your hair color, you change your style, something in the physical you change that is very different from you, from how you were dressing in the past. In addition to that, if you have a renewed confidence, a renewed sense of direction, maybe you're out in the world pursuing your purpose and fulfilling your mission, this energy is sort of radiating out into the world. So if you have your divine masculine on social media, or maybe you work with your divine masculine, or you are in the same city, so you run into your divine masculine a lot, they are going to be sensing this. This is not something you will be talking to them about, but just by seeing you, by seeing this new energy around you, they are going to be completely magnetized towards their divine feminine. almost to the point, as you can see in this card, that this man has lost sense of where he is and what he's doing. All he can focus on, all he can think about is his divine feminine. All he can do is move towards her. And the most important thing in the card to notice is that on the table is the mask, and now the divine masculines are approaching their divine feminines without the mask, without the masquerade. So they are in a state of being more vulnerable and more open, and that is a beautiful thing to notice as we move into the card to the right, which is the outcome card, the card that the divine masculines are working on for this week. The card that they received is To Be Fair. The card itself depicts a woman, and she has the scales on her back, and she's balancing these two items of the fortune cookie and the egg, but you can see that she's maintaining balance, and she's very sturdy and strong in her posture. Above her is an owl representing the wisdom that she's learned through her journey. For the divine masculines, this is showing that their approach to love is very different now. Even though they've been on this path to heartbreak with these karmic relationships, they have this renewed sense within them, and they are feeling that magnetism towards their divine feminine. And their approach to love, their approach to relationships now is going to be very different from the past. They're coming through as being more vulnerable, being more open, being more fair. And this is all because of this renewed sense of balance within themselves. They have this, it's a new cycle, a new beginning for divine masculines. Now let's take a look at the divine masculine's physical environment. The first card that they received is the Blossom card. This card, as you can see, is all about awakening, transforming, stretching, new possibilities, new direction, and new growth. You can see in the card itself there's a woman, and she's holding the sun, and from the sun actually comes the growth. The leaves are green, and you can see that they're getting stronger and bigger as they move away from the sun, as they're growing into their own essence. So for divine masculines right now in their physical environment, this is a new period of growth. They are learning to stretch themselves and their ideas of what they believe is possible, and learning to let it blossom, and learning that if they follow the light, it will be possible and it will blossom into their dreams and what they desire. But this only happens from following the light, from following the sun, from following that knowing that they have within themselves right now. As we move into the divine masculine's present situation, the card they received is number 38, and this card is titled Inner Peace. As you can see in the card, there's a young woman, and she's seated on this platform, and she's looking down at the water, at this dragonfly that is landing on the lilies below. And you can see that she's almost in this very meditative, calm state. There's no distractions around her. The clock itself, the numbers are starting to float away, and the passing of time is temporary on hold. For divine masculines right now, they are choosing to be alone. In the past, when they were alone, it was because they felt isolated or because they were sad. But now they're choosing to be alone because they realize how much oneness they can feel from being alone. They're choosing to be still and being at peace within themselves. This is really a beautiful state to be in, because this is where they become one with the universe. There's no worries or concerns, and the negativity in their physical environment has started to fade. This is their moment to be in solitude and stillness and peace. As we move on to the final outcome card for the divine masculines for their physical environment, we have the card Time to Go. This is what the divine masculines will be working on this week in their physical environment. This card, you can see that there is a woman, and she's walking on this pathway, and her back is completely towards her past, so she's moving forward. Her focus is on the movement forward, but the pathway itself is a little bit cloudy. It's not fully, she can't fully see it, but she can definitely see there's a pathway laid in front of her. There's also a door towards this new beginning, this new journey, but it's the cloudiness of it is showing that she doesn't have the entire picture of where she is, where she's going for her next step, but she's on her way towards that The card itself is all about talking about the Divine Masculines being at the end of one journey and moving into new experiences, new journey, and a new way of being. This new beginning is rooted in divine timing and in synchronicity. And there is a sense within this card that destiny is calling towards the Divine Masculines, and it is time for them to go, time for them to move forward. This is the card that they're working towards this week, so let's see what next week brings for Divine Masculines. Now we're going to be taking a look back at the overall spread for the Divine Masculines. The first thing you can see is the amount of light in the overall spread. The yang has this flame, as this joy and stability, as this blossoming. Last week we talked about the Divine Masculines moving towards the light, and you can see that they're fully embodying this light, and there's definitely a sense of balance within the Divine Masculines. The purple is showing they've connected very closely to their third eye chakra and their inner knowing. They are embarking on a new journey with this sense of renewal, and you can see again with the attraction card that they are magnetized towards their divine feminine. You can also notice that there's not a lot of extra figures aside from the divine feminine in the divine masculine spread, so they are still embodying this state of being alone, but they are completely at peace with being in this state by themselves. They love being by themselves right now, and this is where they're gaining all of this knowledge and this awareness. And now when they're moving forward in this new direction, they're going to be opening up with, it's going to be a different Divine Masculines, because they're going to be more vulnerable, they are going to be more open. And this is probably the first spread that I've seen this year that is so positive for Divine Masculines. So a beautiful, beautiful state for the Divine Masculines to be in right now. And I'm really excited to see what next week's bring, because as you can see, the last card that they received is time to go. So for a lot of Divine Masculines, they are going to be moving forward into their new beginning. So that's it for the Divine Masculines for this week. If you would like to book a private reading to find out where you are with your twin flame, you can do so. All the details are in the description bar below. And also be sure to check out the Divine Feminine's reading for this week also. It's filled with a lot of new information. So that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful. You have yourself a really great day, and we'll be in touch soon. Take care. Bye.